The question is, does Grand Summoners hate their own characters? In short, yes, they do. It was actually something I thought about recently because before he actually begins, I can already tell this is going to go. Um, I don't know the characters by names. I apologize for that. Some of the characters, I'm just so apologies for not knowing characters by name, but I can tell you some of their exclusive or like original based characters are horrible to use or like just horrendous to use. I find myself mainly using the collab characters more and because they're just better overall unless you are a specific type of unit that's meant to just basically carry for like a hot minute and there won't be another one like it for a hot minute. So yeah, but let's begin, and then we'll basically just reacting to what he has to say here. There's no one who can tell me otherwise. That Grand Summers does not hate their own original characters. I may have to censor this because I don't want to get demonetized. It's the first 15 seconds after all. And backwards. I've never seen games really do this. Usually the original characters are very strong because they're the babies. They're the ones that these directors need. Yes, if you have anything like this is a common thing, and this is where I probably never brought it up, or if I have brought it up, I will consistently bring it up. Naruto Blazing, they when they were using like the regular characters, cool, fine, dandy. When they were doing characters that had no basis, no real stats to them to really have any footing of their own, and when they just said, let's do something for those characters, they did pretty good. The characters were actually pretty cool outside of, I think, the one group characters that we had. I think there were more event-based characters, though. Event-based characters are never good. And that goes for almost any game. Event-based characters a lot of times are not good when you have the summonable characters that are probably just 20, 30 times better. But, yeah. I have her. Uh, how does she? How does she work? To be completely honest with you, I don't understand what she's there for. If you understand what I'm saying, her character to me, I thought was supposed to be like another great healing, support character. That's what it felt like looking at her skills and art to true art to god darn super art. But I left her alone pretty much to just work with the current water team that I use, which comprise of Shiro, Rimuru, and Vox, whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about. That's pretty much my water team with her also added. Now, well, I'll replace what's the name every now and then. I add her to the team. So yeah. Yeah, no, that's four. That's four. I'll make sure I was counting right. Cause I was about to say, wait, that don't sound right. Yeah, with her added to it, that's four. What does she do? I don't know. I know she's supposed to have, if I'm correct, she's supposed to have a revive ability, which I thought, oh, that's great because I have Rimuru consistently on arts only. That's it. I don't need Rimuru to do anything else except arts. Shiro is only on two modes, depending upon what we're doing. If it's a multi-stage fight, then I have Shiro on either just pure arts or where he can, loop through and go into his super art, then go into his art, then his true art, then back to his super art, then loop back and keep going from there, hints on. I have her just loosely doing whatever she wants because realistically she's supposed to be a healing support character. That's what she's supposed to be. She hasn't really done that. She's not a good breaker, and she's not really a good support character. I don't get it. I just don't. Well, but not only just because of what the characters do, but say it with this gentleman. They're old. They are so old. Summer Cilia came out about, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? I'll put it up on screen now. I think it's a year ago. And we just now got her on Grand Summers Global. I'm completely okay with there being a bit of delay between Global and JP, but what happened? That's another thing that I do have a problem with this game. And this is I'm gonna keep bringing it up for the part of the rest of this video. When I played Naruto Blazing, which was the game that got me to understand games like this a lot better or a lot more detailed, When I realized there was a Japanese version, the Japanese version came out 2 weeks with something, and then 2 weeks later we would get it. That's how it worked. The what's name would get it first, and then we would get it. It was a very simple process. It was nothing wrong with this. What was the problem, you may ask? Well, the problem was simple. There was no problem actually with it. It was just the game was just sporadic, and it really had no set schedule, and they didn't really change the with the good stuff you would get out of the events or anything like that. That was their problem. So yeah,
until like the 6 month, possibly 8 month window that we used to have for a lot of different units. It seems like now more and more characters are getting pushed onto the back burner, and the only thing that's actually getting pushed are the sale characters. I'm talking about your crossover units. These guys are always on time when they need to be.
that is a problem. The crossover units, I get it. He's even going to say it because I watched like 5 minutes of this video before I was like, I should make a video on this. So be honest with you with that part. The crossovers get them more money. And I already knew that was going to be a thing because it's pretty much the reason I even would go back to Last Claudia will be wholeheartedly because of crossovers. Or shoot, that's the reason I'm about to actually go back to Solo Leveling Arise is because they're doing a crossover right now with a respectable anime that makes me say, I haven't played in almost a year or so. Why not go back? I'll do it. I wouldn't even mind. I wouldn't mind grinding a little bit just to try to get a character that I may not get. But hey, it's always worth the attempt. Always worth the attempt. So I may not put money into it. I may just pure play the game and grind for like a week or so. And then be like, I didn't get it. Oh, shucks. And then, go do something else. But I don't know.
Because they know they make the most money. And by the way, let me just shake your hand real quick. How you doing? This was originally supposed to be a Summer Celia video, and I used her, and I couldn't help but be a bit disappointed because it made me realize that all of these GS original characters that are coming out always need more units to make them work. It's very
That is sadly true. Like the unit that I have, he was just using the dark unit. He does good with a mono dark team. Here's the thing. I understand that certain characters have to be used in a better light or things like that. Like I'll wait till he pops up with the character so to show you what character I'm talking about.
rare whenever we get a GS original character, and they can work and function on their own. Take for an example, Sword God Luan. Sword God Luan, I love this guy.
Him. Great character. He is great for a dark team. The problem is you need a healing character. I personally do not have a dark, good healing character. So this is the team I use, and this is what I'll tell you what I use to help it work. I use him. I will put I forgot her name. Homegirl that does good defense for Overlord. I forgot her name. He's gonna say her, and I use Shadow because that's a good team. Now I can swap out Shadow, and I could put Saber on there if I need big boy damage. Those are just things I can do to help out with that. I'll have to show you better than I can really tell you, I guess. Oh my gosh, these just can't do the barking when I'm trying to record. Why can't they just eat and just enjoy that? Oh,
big damage, crit rate, R gauge. I just love it.
He does great. Damage. He really does really great damage. It is a slow build though. That's the problem. Is that it is a slow build for him to do it. He doesn't just pop it out of nowhere and it's just really good. No, it's a slow build for him to get to that point where he's doing good.
The thing is that Sword God Luan needs not only a mono dark setup with Shadow, he also needs someone later on known as Natasha. And who knows when Natasha's coming out, because bring it up right now, Andy OP. What is that date?
God dang.
Why is this taking forever? I just now realized this while I'm editing this video. Natasha is not like a random event unit. She's part of the Rabbit Platoon, which is its own little saga with this Charlotte right here. We don't even have this Charlotte on Global, bro. Summer Celia is someone that needs Natasha as well to really function. Because during this entire showcase video while I was recording with Shinobu, by the way, Drake Gilliam. It was a bunch of stuff. And to say the least, we kind of struggled on a lot of these because we didn't really have a damage mitigation character. I know some of you may be like, oh, why don't you just use Albedo? She's a dark.
She's a really good damage mitigation character. The only problem with her is she comes in a state of you have to have a good run. You can't. Okay, she's not a character that I would say is good for anything that. How do I put this? Because like of me playing with this team that I set up that I thought was kind of cool and everything. The only problem with it is that they're not like a Shiro type unit. She doesn't just pop in and just automatically has a good defense. No, she has to build up to it. So it takes a minute. You may have to take a battle or two before you reach that. Or you just need someone that can quickly get her to her true art where she can go into the defensive stage. Then you just keep going from there and just let the game have its fun. Because a lot of times, even when I play with the AI so much, is because I need it to be able to play when I'm not around. When I cannot physically play all the time, I need it to be able to consistently cycle through it. Because it's a grinding game. You're going to have to grind. So that means I'm going to have to leave you to do this. So if you fail or barely beat it, that means there's going to be a chance where I leave you on the charger, I walk away, I come back, and it's going to say, continue. And I'm like, what the fudge? How did you lose? You beat him like 17 other times without me looking. I'm sorry, with me watching you. Now you struggle? And I swap it out to put someone that puts a little more damage involved, and it's just stupid. But yeah, she's a good tank, I guess.
She can get DR. Well, Albedo's DR is not really that good if you're not a demon unit. So we wind up using characters like Beta. But the problem still stands is that the overall theme of what Summer Celia wants to be on is a mono dark team. Not to mention, there's so much support for her on mono dark. If we had it on global, and she would actually look pretty impressive. I will say the healing from her is very strong. I was kind of surprised because it was sometimes during the fight where we could just sustain for days because of the amount of healing she was doing. But I still want to say that this character just feels weak. It feels weak. Do you guys remember whenever Summer Rosetta and Summer Ruby finally got added to Red Summers Global? How many people were excited for Summer Rosetta finally coming out? But guess what? If you already tasted the power of this fucking guy, which it sounds a little rude, maybe pause on that. Why in the world would you get hyped for Summer Rosetta? Because you already got someone that technically is doing her job a bit better. It's just insane to me that this is the timeline we're living in, where GS original characters are getting so pushed back. And I feel like for a while there, in the beginning of the Ascendant era, I would say kind of towards the tail end of the Awoken era, we had like a good thing going, where we were getting a mix of GS original characters, plus we were getting a mix of crossover characters, especially in the beginning of the Ascendant era, because the only Ascendant units for a bit there until, Overlord came out, was GS original characters. One thing you guys may have noticed is that it felt like it took a bit of time before we got to the point where we are now, where we have hundreds of Ascendant units now in the game. Also, that is not an exaggeration. There are literally over 100 Ascendant units in the game. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. It's more so the diversity of characters. By diversity, I don't mean like what they do and stuff. The GS to crossover character ratio is insane.
Yeah, I already knew this was going to come up. Because I was actually looking back, and this was a video I made a while back. I was looking at just all the characters, and I was like, it's not a case of just art to true art anymore. We have ones that are ascended, they're good units. They're not bad. It's just that they're crossover units that are clearing your tier list. That is like Okaroon has basically walked in and said, who's the best damage dealer? And then just walked up to that person, smacked him, and said, not anymore. And it's like just casually walked in and did that without any care given. Just that's it. And you're just left to just sit there like, yep, great. You don't have Okaroon? Sad for you. I don't know.
It makes sense because most crossovers add 4 units compared to GS. Whenever they release a character, they usually only add 1, at most 2 at a single time. You can actually,
even when you add 1 or 2 units, they're supposed to be good at that one job that they're Therefore, if you make a character that is supposed to be good at nuking, I expect that character to be good at nuking. I don't expect them to be good at nuking until we get another crossover. Oh, hey guys, we're doing a crossover with, I don't know, Solo Leveling. You know what? Who's the best? Who's the best tank in the game? Ugh, we put Iron in the game, so guess what? He's the best tank now. No one can touch him. So no original character is that good in comparison to him because he could take the strongest attack ever without even using anything except his skill, and that's okay. And he's going to be used until the day we all die. But then you make another character that's supposed to be good at taking hits, supposed to be a good tank unit, and he can't do anything. Can't do nothing. Can't take a hit without somebody having to heal. But oh, don't worry, guys, don't worry. Another crossover coming over, so we're gonna have someone that has really great skill abilities to make sure that you can really amp it up. Oh, by the way, they're only really good with this crossover unit, even though they were two different people from two different series. But they're the same, kind of color. So, there you go. What the fudge? What is happening?
See this perfectly on the Grand Summers database. Everything past Shala is a crossover unit. Who made this design decision in GS? And look, I can't hate the hustle. I truly can't. Because in reality, they may eventually run out of characters to make for GS. It takes time. And I know creativity and ideas don't come instantly. So ever they're in a bit of a slump, the artists, the writers, whoever it might be,
Can I be honest with you? I don't think that's a good enough excuse. You are a team that have a storyline with characters. You should have your main character have multiple versions of himself. And that means from just regular versions to seasonal versions that's supposed to be there for whatever other reason. Hey, if you wanted to even be that person, you can make crossover versions of your own characters. The main character himself, I don't even know how many times I've used him. It's not been enough. I can tell you that right now. I just got this sucker evolved because I didn't have enough. I don't know how I didn't have enough, but I didn't have the thing to evolve him. And I had to wait until we got the AFK event on the AFK little portion to get him evolved. So me personally, this is my personal opinion towards it, and this is just me right here. You could take that with a grain of salt or whatever else you want to take it with. The problem here is that all their chips are going to crossover units. That's not bad for money wise. That is horrible for longevity wise, because when you can make a character like the main character could have a really good art ability, or like he could be a really good damage mitigation character. He could be a really good nuking character. He could be another good support character. Because it's not like they can't make them. Because when they make that one good character, that one really good spicy character, they're everywhere. They're used until the end of time. That sucker could be 3 years old and still able to stand up in a setting that he shouldn't or she shouldn't be able to stand in. I'm looking at other people that's clearing events that I can't clear. They're using characters that came out 5 years ago. And they're like, yeah, this character's still good. And I'm like, what? I can't do that. Yes, I mean, yeah, they probably heavily, leveled them up as high as they can be. Plus, giving them the best crests. By the way, I just got the burst quest. So yeah, I literally just got it. I just got on Grand Summoners and I accepted my rewards, and that was kind of cool. So I think that's the one. Whichever the crest beacon, I think that's the one it was. Yeah, that's the one I got. So that's fun. I'm gonna save it though. I'm not gonna use it yet. I'm gonna wait on that.
He doesn't really know what next to make. Why not just get a crossover? If they know they can get it because they are with Good Smile Company, why not do that and then just make life easy on them because they know for a fact it's gonna bang. Crossovers sell in GS. Crossovers is the whole reason why GS is even at the point it is. If we never got a crossover in GS and it was just the original units, GS would definitely be a lot smaller. We wouldn't have as many players. We wouldn't even be as well known. The main point of all this, though, is just your boy's upset. I truly am. I'm upset that the GS units are just not getting any love. This is a thing that only I feel. You guys let me know down in the comment section if I'm, am I wood dying right now, or do you guys feel the same way? Where it's so hard to get extremely hyped. Let someone anticipate an original GS character because by the time Global gives it, there's someone else already out in JP, or we already got someone that does something similar from a crossover in Global, so now that character loses all of its value, all of its sparkle, all of its luster. Hopefully in this live stream that's going to be happening tonight, we might see something crazy. I mean, at most we'll be seeing Saintus Platine.
I doubt it highly. To be perfectly honest, I believe that we're not going to see a new specific character. I believe it's crossover time because we're supposed to get more crossover units than we already have, and that's not good. That's the bad portion of this whole thing, is that it's just more and more crossover units. It's a problem that it's this many crossover units. It's good money-wise. It keeps them afloat. But if you don't have any good characters that you can just, throw out like every now and then, and I don't feel like those characters even hyped at this point. It's like, oh, you play Grand Summon as JP. Oh, I'm hyped to see him on Global now, and I'm like, I don't play JP. I don't play JP because I just don't feel like restarting, and because JP just does it so much better. They get like, I think we're getting like a certain magical index, which that's cool. Bad portion is the main character that a lot of people will be talking about is the main guy. And you know what he is? You'll never guess. Drum roll, please, if you don't know. He's a water tank character. Shiro, to me right now, is still the best tank in the water division that I use currently. Let me say that I use. Let me be specific here so everyone can understand. That I currently use. That's what I think we're getting. That or what's the game called? The anime called? The time I get reincarnated as a slime probably coming back. I know we're getting like Kill la Kill almost near close to next year or in the beginning of next year because they always bring that back, and I think that'd be kind of cool because I'm missing a few characters from there, so I wouldn't mind, but just stupid. But go ahead, close out your statement, my boy.
And she's a dope unit. I think Saintus Platine is going to be one of the best breakers in the game. But how long does that last until the next crossover comes out, which we don't know what it might be? But all we know, it could be Boku no Pico. That's a joke. That's a joke. Oh, God, yeah, but Pete, please do not take us down this route. Another thing that I want to mention, too, that I don't know if a lot of people has talked about or someone else has said this before,
That's funny.
but I feel like in the Japanese version, whenever they have these original characters they release, and you have these crossover characters and everything of the sort, it feels a lot healthier, a lot more of a healthy curve.
Because they lead the dance. It's a simple case of when you're leading the dance, you're able to organize it. And right now, because Global is trying to keep up with the Japanese version, so that's bad for them than anything else. Instead of doing a kind of a separate route, which I don't understand the Chinese version why it didn't last. I mean, yeah, it was getting a brand new, it was a whole new thing. Okay. If you don't know what happened in the Chinese version, the best way I can describe this to you, it was late on a lot of different things. It was heavily behind on everything. It was so behind, it wasn't even funny on how behind it was. Like, I think when everybody else was doing Kill la Kill to, I think even a new crossover, they were getting One Punch Man. I think that's how it even started off. Was day one they get One Punch Man characters to try to keep up, which isn't bad or nothing like that. I just think what would have got them more money, what would have made them all more money, is going a separate route, but slightly coming together every now and then. If you want to be open and honest with you, you want to save this game. Let me give you the key to save the game. Go a separate route. Look at what the Japanese is doing and say, that's cool. Every now and then we'll be in sync, but other than that, we'll be completely different for each other. When you release a brand new character, we'll release a different character. When you do a crossover, we'll do another crossover. Eventually, we'll go to your crossover. Eventually, you'll do a whole nother crossover. It's fair and it's fine and it's healthy. We'll just keep going like that. That's not bad. Exclusives. That's how you should do it for a hot minute, and then every now and then, just be like, boom. You should be separate, not picking up after, because they're picking up after, and then they're trying to do all this. Then they're eventually like, now we can release this character that we should have been released. No, it's unhealthy. It's gonna mess it up. It's horrible. What's your closing statement?
Into all these power creep characters compared to what we have on Global. Like, Global is literally peaks and valleys compared to JP that feels a bit more, we kind of have a high, plateau for a bit because this character may not be as broken as this one, and then it's another high, maybe go a bit lower. It feels, I think, a lot more natural on the Japanese side than it does on Global because they get these characters as they release. They don't have to wait. Either way, though, you guys let me know how you all feel about this entire topic down below in the comment section. And also, if you want to,
my personal opinion, and this is my little thing here, just little bitty one. I was upset at this game originally, and this was personal dumb reasons, because of the crossovers that they did have. You're sponsored by Crunchyroll. You have your own original Crunchyroll character, like the character that pops up when you the female character pops up when you sign into Crunchyroll. She's in the game. She's not good. My problem is this: Crunchyroll has the rights to a lot of anime, a lot, like during every single anime in the world for you to access. Not only should I not be seeing a rerun of crossovers on any of these, I shouldn't be seeing part 18 of Kill la Kill. I should be seeing, and this is my personal opinion, I don't care however you want to look at that. I don't know how this whole thing works. I may need to be sitting in class for this. But I believe that we should not only be seeing different crossovers, we should be seeing unique crossovers that the other one doesn't have. I think the Japanese should be like, hey guys, we're doing, I don't know, name the anime, insert your favorite anime that you want to see. In Baki, for all you want to put something like that in there, and then Global should be like, you know what, we were really excited, guys. We cannot wait to do this crossover. Hajime no Ippo. I know it doesn't fit, but I'm just saying, like, things like that. Or me personally, if you want me to be that type of person, I'll pick the easiest route you could pick. Put the easy animes in there. If you really want to make the big money like that, put them easy animes in there. And you already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Dragon Ball, the Naruto. I'm talking about the One Piece. I don't know how you never put these characters in, but you put Yu Yu Hakusho in there one time and never brought it back. I'm not sure how that whole thing works. I don't know. Me personally, Solo Leveling should be in there. Why it's not in there, but Dandadan's in there? Last Claudia, they killing it. They hype up new units. And the Japanese version, to be honest with you, just seemed like it's just chilling. It's doing its own thing. It's like they doing two different things. And they just having fun, whatever they doing over there. That's why I like Last Claudia. I'm not gonna pretend it. I like it. Grand Summoners, do better. That's all I gotta say. That's how I'm gonna end this, because I got a lot more to say, but I'm gonna try to keep this not that long, because it's already long enough. But that's my personal opinion on the matter.